All right. Well, my name is Rick Banville. I'm CEO of USA Benefits Group, and I'm super excited to do another Impact podcast for USA Benefits Group. And today's guest is division leader from the Producers Group, Adam Stockett. So how you doing, Adam?
Doing well. Thank you, Rick, for having me. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the podcast. And the whole idea behind this is we want to get to know our leadership a little bit deeper. We want to, talk about you. We want to talk about your career. We want to talk about what it was like, what it's like now, and where do you think the market is going, and where USABG, where the Producers Group is going, together, right, in partnership, and how we can serve others and serve agents and clients alike. So with that being said, Adam, what were you doing before you were insurance, or did you start insurance right out of the womb? Because I know it's a family ordeal.
All right. So, do you want to know what I was doing prior to getting licensed, or what I was doing prior to when I first got in the business?
Did you ever have another job besides insurance?
Yeah. So in college, I was a busboy and a waiter. Once I had a gap year when I graduated college. I was a research associate working on implementing vegetable oils into latex paper coatings. And so synthesizing latexes and then developing them into paper coatings and then testing them, did all that. And then I went to graduate school. I was working on my PhD in chemistry, working on self-healing semiconducting polymers. So insurance.
Awesome. So how did your dad recruit you into insurance?
So it kind of there's very rarely are decisions made in a vacuum where it's just one thing happening. It was a kind of a combination of things. 2007 started out great. I'd passed candidacy that January. So I was gone from being a graduate student to now being a candidate working on my PhD in organic chemistry. But then a series of things kind of happened. My wife and I at the time decided to be a good idea to get pregnant while we were in graduate school, which in hindsight may not have been the best decision. Also, at the time, the professor I was working for, we kind of had some disagreements on how to do things. And so that was kind of falling apart. And at the same time, in the background, my dad is calling me, telling me how great the business is doing. Tends to speak hyperbolically at times, but be a bit braggadocious. So you know how great the business is going, this, that, or the other. But at the same time, he was kind of tired of being in the field, and he'd been out there on the road, talking to people, doing all that kind of stuff, hitting the bricks a lot. And he wanted to move into more of hiring agents and recruiting agents and kind of implementing what he had been doing to the masses and go out there and grow the business that way. But in order to do so, he needed somebody to come on board who could, one, take care of his existing client base, but also be an in-house agent and help me continue to grow that block while we were doing the recruiting. So the combination of, kind of things falling apart in graduate school and him being braggadocious about that, I decided to, completely do a 180 and change career paths and leave graduate school and come on board and get my license. So my first son was born December 26th. And my last day as a paid graduate student was December 31st, so 5 days later. And then I was a licensed agent in January. I've been working within the family unit, my dad and my brother and I together, growing the agency. That first year, 2008, we were quite fortunate due to my dad's production levels. And previously as an agent, we'd actually got an exclusive contract for the new Manhattan Life Medicare supplement coming in Mississippi. So it was 6 months. Anybody who wanted to sign up and write up the Medicare supplement through Manhattan Life had to come through us. And it was an excellent initial windfall for us because he'd been in the field. He knew who all the players were. So he was able to go out there and convince them to contract with us. And we had that great first year right out of the gate with Family Life and their Medicare supplements. And then we again in 2010, 2011, we got another exclusive for Indiana when Philadelphia American came out with their Medicare supplement. So we got another 6-month exclusive contract and did really well with that. And so that was kind of our kicking off into growing agents and helping agents by going out there and getting them better contracts than we could get just from their routine, just with their regular FMOs. We were offering them higher contract levels and support and agent lists, client list, all that kind of good stuff. We've been kind of growing we did that for a long time. And then middle 2000s, we kind of had a couple things going on. We kind of had the conversation that we had all of our eggs in one basket. We were doing exclusively Medicare supplements, so all of our commissions were tied up into one product. And then the other thing we were coming into is that we've always worked the turning 65 list. So people who were aging into Medicare. And what we were finding is that people were aging into Medicare, but they were having to work past 65 simply to keep their younger spouse insured. And at that time, being an exclusive Medicare agency, we didn't really have any good options for them. And so we kind of learned from talking to Colette about this product, the indemnity options through Philadelphia American. So we're like, hey, we were doing a ton of business with Philadelphia American in New Era. We have a great relationship with them. Let's go do that. So we jumped on board and tried to do that for a little bit. Didn't really get a ton of traction. So we started working with at the time, the number one FMO for those Philadelphia American products. Tried working with him, and he didn't really have any kind of back end infrastructure. And he had some trainings for the product, but I went to some of those, but you didn't really end the training with any more product knowledge than what you started with. And so we were just kind of spinning our tires constantly trying to grow into the under 65 market and help diversify. And quite serendipitously, my dad going on trips happened to come across these folks, Rick and Jessica Banville. And he came back, he's like, I've met these people and they've got this website and they've got all this stuff they can do for us. And he was like, he's like, we have no idea. He's like, you have no idea what's going on. He's like, they do everything. He's like, just it's not just Philadelphia American. They do everything. They have all these ideas for this and the other. He's like, just sign up and do this. And so we came on board to USABG and kind of got to learn all of what an actual proper FMO and a proper infrastructure is for doing under 65 health insurance. And it's been an absolute windfall, I think, for the both of us. We've been doing great here for the last 7 years, seeing stupendous growth now to a point where our under 65 business is as large, if not larger, than our Medicare supplement business that we spent the first 20 years building. So it's been a great partnership for us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you guys have been with USA Benefits Group now coming on 6 years. From what I understand, you didn't have a lot of traction with under 65. You had serious traction in the over 65 market. You partnered, what I heard what you just said lived it with you guys, is that you partnered with USA Benefits Group and we're really able to, get that foundation of your business up and running. What did you end in annualized premium last year?
It was pretty close. If you include ACA and everything, we were right around 27, 28 million, if I recall.
I was going to say,
it's been a few months to look at the numbers.
Yeah, that's excellent. So great job, man. Amazing.
Yeah.
In 5 years time, you guys were able to put up $30 million in U65 business here in partnership with USA Benefits Group. So first of all, I just want to say congratulations. That's no small feat. And I want to say, thank you.
Yeah. It's been great for us, thanks to you guys as well. You guys provided the platform.
Did you ever think of quitting?
Oh, all the time.
Why do you hang in there?
So I think it's actually a good mental exercise to kind of take a step back and take a stock of where you are and what you're doing. And once you start taking that step back and compiling the list of pros versus a list of cons, and you find out the grass is not always greener on the other side. There's every job is going to have its downs, but the ups or the pros of working for yourself, going out there and making your own money and building out something for yourself, and there's nothing else quite like it. I'm sure I can go take a 9-to-5 job. Like I mentioned being in graduate school. I have a lot of friends who I went through and finished. They're professors now. They're working at exactly what they wanted to do, but they're still putting in graduate school hours. They're working 70, 80, 90 hours a week and not for themselves. They're doing their own research that they want to do, but they're still beholden to a paycheck and university and everything else. They don't have the freedoms that we have to go out and do.
What do you think, what would you say the biggest thing is, or value of USA Benefits Group is to an agent coming in? So
the number one thing that I think is USABG offers over anybody else, I'm going to go two. Okay, so There's support. Okay, so anything that you may need is there for you, provided you're willing to dive into it and use it. Okay, the back office is filled with more stuff than anybody could ever shake it, whether it's training, support, everything is there. But the agent is going to have the professional responsibility and the initiative to lean into it and make use of it. And the other thing that USABG does above any other FMO is invest back in the agents. You're going to earn marketing dollars just for going out there and being an agent and nothing more. Attending some meetings, putting in your sales, investing back into the agents is, I don't have anybody else investing back in the agents the same level USABG is. So, the combination of the infrastructure, the support, then also then the investment back in the agents.
Well, agreed. And, I appreciate you, recognizing that, but yes, we invest a lot. I think it'll be $1 million in marketing dollars.
Yeah. So $1 million in 2025. And that's what you put back, and that's what you put back into the agents, right? So, that's incredible. And, one of the nice things about the way we work is that USABG doesn't grow if the agents who we were working with aren't also growing. They go hand in hand. So if they're not seeing growth, we're not seeing growth. But because we are seeing this annual 25% growth, that means our agents are growing by at least that much. Because for every agent that is growing over 25%, there's somebody who's not. So if USABG is growing, the agents, by virtue of that, have to be growing the same thing as well.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point. I mean, USA Benefits Group is growing 25% year over year for the last 5 years in a row, right? And all that is a corporate average. So that means on average, the agents are growing at 25% plus. And yes, some might be growing at 10, 15, 20 or less. And then there's others that are growing at 30, 40, 50%. But we're averaging, the corporate average is 25% plus year over year, 5 years in a row. And we just finished the first quarter of this year, and we're up 30% this year over last year at this time. So the trend isn't stopping.
There's a lot of major corporations and a lot of major markets that they'd be excited to see 3% growth.
Right.
And we're over 8 times that.
100%. So when you're looking for an agent to partner up with, I mean, it's a lot of time, energy, effort, resources, experience, whether it be you or one of your downline leaders to take somebody on. Basically, when I came to USABG, man, I just wanted a vehicle of opportunity at work and a mentor to show me how, right? And that's what I found here at USA Benefits Group. And we know what we have. We know what we have, right? But, sometimes, other agents don't really understand what we have or the value of it. As you mentioned, it's here and they need to dig in and they need to make it happen. But when you're going to, you're going to invest your soul basically into somebody, what are you looking for? What are some traits that you're looking for an agent? What's a good match for TPG, the Producers Group, and USA Benefits Group that you're looking for to bring under your wing that you want to spend time with and get them to the next level?
Yeah, so the 3 points, whenever I'm talking to a recruit, the 3 main points that I emphasize is that one, that you must be client focused. You have to be somebody who's going to want to work in the best interest of the client. Because if you're somebody who's money first and you're focused on commissions and how much money you can make, this business will eat you up and spit you out really quickly. Because you'll churn and burn quickly. You'll get chargebacks. You'll be in and out. So you've got to be willing to be client focused. The other thing I need them to be is they must have initiative. We're not going to hold your hand. We're not going to babysit you. We're not going to micromanage you. You have to be willing to step off into it and go figure some things out yourself. And what I tell them is, hey, go get lost. Go into the back office, get lost, watch some trainings, get confused, and then come back to me, and I'll help you get found. So I need you to have some initiative to go out there and find things yourself. And the third thing is you got to do is you have to be organized. There's a lot of stuff coming at you very quickly. You have to be able to segment your time into training, prospecting, and appointments, along with other things you got to deal with. But you've got to be organized. So client-focused, initiative, and organization are 3 key aspects you've got to have to make this long-term.
Yeah, you just scared away all the go-getters. All those go-getters aren't very organized. Get an assistant.
You've got to. Otherwise, you're just constantly chasing your tail.
Right. No, I get it. No, you're right. So what are some things that you see when agents, when you say, mistakes agents make that prevent them from getting to the next level or they're giving up?
It's biting off more than they can chew, wanting to move too fast, too soon. You've got to walk. You got to stand up first. Then you got to crawl. Then you got to walk. Then you run. So if you try to skip any of those steps, you're gonna break your development. I had an agent last week call me a complete panic. He's like, "Hey, this is way more than I thought it was going to be. I'm way over my head. I don't know what's going on. What's going on? Help me out. So you could hear the panic in his voice. And I took a deep breath, and I said, take a deep breath, take a step back. I said, I told you this was going to happen, didn't I? Then you could kind of hear him exhale a little bit. He's like, oh yeah, you did tell me it was going to be like this. I said, in the beginning, there's a lot coming at you. I said, what we're going to do, I said, you've seen some trainings, you've been in some case studies, you've heard a bunch of acronyms, you've heard a bunch of names, and it's probably all very confusing. What we're going to do is we're going to back it down, and we're going to learn one company. Okay, I want you to go to this website, and I want you to get these brochures, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how we build all these things out and why we do all these things. So the number one problem or issue that agents come into is trying to do too much too soon. We take that, you want to have that client mentality, right? So you want to go help the clients out. So they want to go do what's best for their client. So they go to case studies and they go to national sales meetings. They see all these various things and moving parts that agents are doing, and they want to do the exact same things for their clients. And that's great, but you can't do that yet. First thing they need to do is I need you to stand up. I need you to first understand when I say M&L, I mean Manhattan. Okay. Mm-hmm. I need you to know when I say Chaz, I mean cancer, heart, like a stroke. Cancer, heart, like a stroke. You got to stand up first. Then we'll get you crawling. Then we'll get you walking.
All right, beautiful. So where do you see the market going in the next 3 to 5 years?
If I had a crystal ball, I wouldn't be selling insurance. So I kind of deviate, I guess, from the norm here in that I can only speak to what I would like to see done, and I would like to see health insurance be out of the private market a little more into the socialized aspect of it. Because you see things, they've privatized health insurance is broken on a fundamental level. Like 2 weeks ago, I got a bill from I was talking with an agent who had gotten a bill from a hospital for $640,000. I mean, that's bankruptcy. That's life changing. That's more than any other house that I'd ever paid, and that's just a single surgery. And the guy had to have a second one a few weeks later. Well, once it got down to the insurance company, they repriced it down to $340,000. So, what is the actual cost of that procedure? Is it $640,000 or is it $340,000? And could you imagine any deal like that where you would go buy a house or you were selling a house and somebody came back and offered you $340,000? No, you would laugh them off the property. You took them to kick rocks. But they were originally charged $640, got repriced to $340. So what is the actual price for that? And these are real life things that people deal with on a regular basis. So that kind of cost illusion is completely broken. And when people look at the American healthcare system, they don't look at it as a state of jealousy. They look at it as a state of mockery. On the national state, on the worldwide scale, our healthcare is among some of the worst in the world. And to say that we can't find a way to pay for it, I mean, India has 4 times the population that we do, and they have a GDP less than California, but they have healthcare for their client, for their people. And these are just conversations that people shouldn't have to worry about. And if this person didn't have health insurance, because they didn't perfectly right, they had a total benefits package set up for them, so they were going to be fine on the back end. But if you didn't have that, where does the average person come up with $640,000? That's life-changing amounts of money.
Well, they're not going to be able to come up with that. And that's one of the things I love about USA Benefits Group is because, we handle health insurance under 65. We handle life insurance. We handle Medicare insurance, okay? But our bread and butter is definitely the under 65 market, although we can help everybody. Okay. And we can help them in the Affordable Care Act, and we can help them in the alternatives to the Affordable Care Act. And right now, one of the things that just happened was the Biden era subsidies went away because, the government has to spend a lot of money to help people be able to afford, this type of insurance. Right. So with those Biden era subsidies going away, a lot of people are moving back into the private market. We handle both. Okay. And we're able to help a lot of people. And our primary target market is typically the healthy and the wealthy. Right. And give them private options to help them with their insurance. And, our sales are through the roof in servicing those people. And we're still able to service those people that are, either, have an ailment that they can't get regular insurance, or B, they have low income, so they're able to get subsidies from the government. So,
yeah, and that's one of the true strengths here is that we are complete brokers. We're never beholden to one kind of company or one kind of coverage. So you can actually go in there and evaluate that client regardless of what their health history is, and find something that fits their budget. And that helps both the clients, because again, you're working in clients' best interest, but then also as agents, that helps us diversify. Like I said a minute ago, we were all in on the Medicare basket, so all of our commissions were coming in. From day one at USABG, you're kind of taught to diversify from the get-go. So no matter what happens to the market, you'll have something to help lean on.
That's exactly right. There's been a lot of times where I thought we were out of business because of regulation or the economy or things of that nature. And we've always made more money that year than the year before because we're able to pivot on a dime and able to help people. And that's what we do. It's a fantastic industry. And, we are USA Benefits Group as an agency in the box, a turnkey operation, step-by-step onboarding process. And you can specialize in any of the fields, like I said, U65, over 65, ACA, and life insurance. But most agents become a specialist in one area and dabble in the others, and that's absolutely fine. Adam can walk you through that. The future for the TPG USABG partnership is very bright. Like I said, we're growing 25% year over year, 30% up so far this year. And I don't see that stopping with, great partners like you. If an agent is watching, there's going to be agents watching this right now looking for a home, right? And they want to get under Adam Stockett's wing with TPG. And you guys are a family and you guys do a fantastic job. 30 million in business last year is amazing, right? And this year it's going to be, probably 25% more than that, right? So absolutely amazing. How would an agent get a hold of you directly, Adam, if they want to talk to you about learning more and coming on board with you?
Sure thing. The two best ways to get a hold of me is one, obviously you can email me. My email is my last name dot my first name. So stockett.adam@gmail.com. That's one way to reach me. If you want to reach me directly and get the quickest response, it's my cell phone. And this is direct to me, and it's 601-447-8465. That's my cell phone, has been my cell phone number for the last 25 years now. That goes direct to me at 601-447-8465.
That's amazing. Adam, thank you so much. You're a fantastic partner of USABG. Love learning more about you. What I want the fans, the audience out there to know is that we check us out at YouTube, check us out on Facebook, check us out on Spotify, check us out on TikTok. We're on all of them, Instagram. And, come aboard if you're looking for a home, because you too can be successful here. This isn't isolated to anybody else. Agency in the box, USA Benefits Group, Adam Stockett, TPG. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was quick. I thought it was going to go longer than that.
All right.